Hi everyone, my name is Vlad and I help businesses create AI voice agents that book appointments, make reminders, follow-ups. And nowadays AI voice agents become more and more popular, more businesses using them, but a lot of people made it completely wrong and their AI agents sound fake and don't sell at all. You can use AI voice agents not for sales, for example. You can use it for confirmations, for quality control. It still won't work well if you don't follow these 7 tips. I'm gonna share with you my real experience after making thousands of calls for real businesses. So let's start. And the first tip that I want to share with you is that you have to choose the right provider for your task. And this is very important, trust me, because there are a few SaaS companies that provide you AI voice agents, but they are made for different scenarios, for different businesses. And if you make the wrong choice, you will suffer from it later. And I think the most popular one is 11 Labs. Of course, they build best voice quality and they are quite adaptable for many languages, for Russian, for English, for Indian, and it works well, trust me. And their voices sound like real humans. Pretty nice choice for simple high trust calls. For example, when you call in for your real customer base, and it's not cold sales where you have to choose every word. And this works well. This is the fastest path to sound like a human and to make your first steps in AI voice agents. And I made the most of my agents in 11 Labs because it's quite simple, it's quite understandable, and it's also cheap. And I really recommend this one. So nice choice. You can check it out. And the next one is Retail AI. This is a tool that built for control and compliance. Really nice tool. And also it's more adapted for calls, because 11 Labs, it's they have creative studios, they have a lot of other products, but Retail AI, it's just for calls, So if you are a med clinic, legal, or for example, finance company, and you really need to make sure all of your calls, all of your conversations are correct, and there's, hard scenarios where you have to, qualify your client and ask 10 different questions and, different outcomes. You can use Retail because it have different audit trails, guardrails, and other tools that help you to build, secured and really good agent. So the next one is VAPI or VAPI, I don't really know. I would call it flexible orchestrator because when you want to swap voices and models and choose every part of your agent, it's really a flexible one, so you can choose it. And you can run a real volume without locking into one vendor. And I think for agencies, it's quite a nice choice because you can choose different models for your clients and make sure everyone works well. And the Blend is a good choice for outbound sales. And the last option is custom voice agent, and really few people talk about it. Actually, I myself created my custom voice agent using framework Pipecat, and it works well. And the most important thing, I have full control on it. I can control every model, I can control every provider, and actually I use Chinese text to speech model that's free, that's fully free right now. So it's a very interesting one, but it's very hard to engineer. So it's a nice choice if you want to scale, or you need to, for example, create your own fine-tuned LLM and connect it with your voice agent. And the next lesson I want to share with you that was quite painful for me, but it's latency equals trust. And you have to really make sure your agents reply fast. And it mostly depends on your provider. And if you build your custom agent, it's really important metric. But if you use, for example, 11 Labs or Retail, you don't really have to worry about it. I had the problem with 11 Labs, and I built a quite simple agent that answered like really simple questions, and my agent was answering like in 2-3 seconds, which was a lot. And I had to build my own agent using Pipecat. You have to make sure your agent will reply less than in 800 milliseconds. Then it will feel natural. And if client waits for more than 1.5 seconds, they hang up. It's quite simple, so follow this rule. Slow agents equals lost bookings, and I can share with you a few settings that you can apply if you use, for example, 11 Labs. And first one is interruption ignore terms. You can just simply type phrases like gotcha, understood, yeah, yes, and others, and the agent will ignore them while your agent speaks, so they won't interrupt agent, and it won't ruin whole conversation. And the second setting is speculative turn, and when it's enabled, AI starts to generate a response during the speech of your for example, client. It increases LLM costs, but not dramatically. It's like, I don't know how much, but I usually turn this on, and it really helps to increase speed of my agent. I will share how to build your script, your prompt for AI agents that it will respond correctly like most of the times, and if you choose even like a really weak model. So most of the times my structure looks like I have a prompt that contains like, I don't know, 5,000 symbols, and it includes first of all role and goal. So who are you and what you have to do in this call, and you have to be really clear in this one, and you can type something like your professional med clinic administrator, and you help to book appointments. And the second one is one data block. It means you have to give agent variables that contain some data that it can recall it and use it for conversation. Third part is how to address the caller. This actually very important, because sometimes AI can misunderstand who your, for example, client or caller is. This one is really important, because if you make it wrong, agent can make some massive mistakes, and you will lose some prospects, leads, and on. Next one is voice and style. It's quite simple. You can make your agent more friendly, or for example more professional. It depends on your niche. Next block, which is the largest in whole prompt, is branches, like how the whole conversation can go, which directions, and how to react and respond to each of them. For example, it can be confirmation or rescheduling or canceling appointment or different questions. Like you have to handle all of them and make sure you know every workflow that can be possible in your scenario. And the last part of your prompt is the hard do not list. And this one is really important, because LLMs make mistakes quite often, and you just make a list of points that you can never do in conversation. And if you want some examples, I have a real prompt that I use for my med clinic client, and it looks like structure I just gave you. So role and goal, some variables, as you can see, you can read it. Yeah, voice and style, how you should sound like, and also conversation scenario. Patient, it contains one main question for patient. In this scenario, we're confirming his appointment, and then depends on answer. There's few different scenarios, few different branches. And the first one is confirmed. Next is rescheduling. Also, we have cancellation, questions, and also wrong person. It's quite often, so you have to understand that this scenario happens. And also voicemail is quite a big problem, because it eats your tokens, and AI does not talk to real human. So I have some detect patterns. For example, like phrases like leave a message or something. Do not list, I already showed you. So some rules like do not invent available slots, prices, or guarantees. Quite simple. And for example, do not overuse the person's name or full name. It's a really big thing for LLMs, because sometimes they just call your name after every single answer. And the third tip is to have visible outcomes for your agent, and it's quite obvious, but you have to understand what your outcome of the call is. And for example, it can be booked appointment, or it can be qualified lead, or it can be collected feedback or something like that. And I think the most interesting part of AI agents that you can connect it with different CRMs or different platforms, and automate real workflows, not just create agents that talks to your client and that's it. So yeah, I just recommend you to create tools, connect with your systems, and make your agents to close like full workflows. And the next one is design for failure, and you have to make sure your agent understand every scenario that can go wrong, and it will go wrong, trust me. And for me, most frequent one is the voicemail. I had so many times, and like I showed you, I created some words that it detects and just hang ups the call. And you also have scenarios like wrong numbers, angry people, like complex questions, and what you will do in this situation. For example, you can hand off to a human, how it will happen. So you have to understand and make sure your agent never hallucinate on these scenarios. Also, guys, I have really interesting life hack for this problem, and you can just, for example, I sometimes ask a company or business for real examples of calls of operators, of humans, and they give me like tens of these audio files. I just give it to AI, it transcribes it, it analyzes, and give me these problematic scenarios that can go wrong, and I just understand it and build prompt properly. The next lesson is very important, and and I just make hundreds of tests before like first ever call. Really important because you can't know how your prompt will act on like thousands of calls. So you have to do this thing called end-to-end tests, and you can just make different agents that talk to your main agent and see how it acts. And I guarantee you will find a lot of problems. And what you need to fix, okay? Three things. It's the model itself, how it responds. Sometimes you have to switch for more smart ones. Sometimes for more cheap ones. It depends. And the second thing is tool calling. And sometimes cheaper models can forget about tools and just not to call them, and it will ruin some conversations. So make sure you choose the right model that will 100% of the times call different tools that you need. For example, end call, get booking appointments, or I don't know, get patient information calls. You have to run like hundreds of tests to see which model hallucinates more. And simply the answer quality, and this depends on your niche. Sometimes you have to like respond in very diligent way, and some models just can't do this. And tests will help. And just let AI pick the best combination for you, and it will work well. And the last tip I will share today is quite funny and interesting one. I just figured out that female voices work better. I don't know why. They just convert like more leads. They have less hang up score, and they work well. It depends on your market. You have to test it. But for me, like almost all the time we use female voices, and they sound like more like a human. I don't know. You have to also run A/B tests like in landing page, and not only in voices, like also in prompts, on scenarios, on different parameters, and it will increase your quality of voice agent dramatically. And yeah, that's it. It was 7 lessons I learned doing like thousands of calls, tens of hours doing this voice agents. And if you want my help to set up your own voice agent for your business, you can just simply book a call with me. I will help you, and subscribe to my channel. We'll see you in another videos.